you're on your own. So
yeah, and it's going to impact either me directly or also fuck up the lives of people who I don't want that to happen to, in a way that, you know, a traditional parent, you might be like, oh, they can handle it, but if they're sort of, what do you call it, like chosen parents, then yeah.
But like the question I have, and what it strikes me from something that both of y'all have said, is that if I'm looking at example, regardless of what they're saying, James Harrison, by most accounts, would be like a super positive example, right? So if he's saying like, oh man, you know, I did all this, but you know, that was bad. You shouldn't do what I'm doing. But like, he's like the mark of like masculinity, you know, like
exactly.
Pro football player, Super Bowl champion, like is, I want to say James Harrison is in his like late 40s, but is in like peak physical condition versus like a normal
46,
person. Yeah, like he's like mammoth. Like he's like benching like insane fucking shit. Like I swear to God, I still believe he's on steroids. He's that strong. So it's like, how much does it resonate if somebody's telling you not to do something, but their actual example isn't that shit worked out well? You know what I mean? Like they're the picture of masculinity. They're the picture of success. They've like, you know, done extremely well in life.
Cause we all watched Mad Men, we all watched Breaking Bad and Rick and Morty and goddamn Iron Man, and it's all about how, you know, don't do drugs and don't push away the people in your life and don't be a fucking asshole. But the whole show is like, but this shit look dope when you do it, and it's like, it's fun as hell, and it's like it's hard to, cause what do you say? You know, kids see what you do, not what you say, or whatever the fuck it is. Like that's the thing that would give me pause in giving this kind of advice.
Yeah, I think it's hard, you know, when you're James Harrison.
I'll tell you this though, one other thing too that also contributed was to me like not doing drugs and stuff. Like I started smoking weed in college, and that was like, oh, I get some weed, that's fine. Yeah. But like it was also like my circle of friends, like we wasn't on that type of shit. Like none of us was interested in doing drugs.
That's a good point.
Look,
interesting.
This is what he did.
I didn't get drunk for the first time until like senior night. But you know, of course I had like, you know, one or two of my friends like they had a bottle, but we just weren't on that type of time.
Yeah. This is college.
Yeah. But
or includes college.
Yeah, includes college, but college was around the time like I got introduced to like smoking weed, but kept it just at weed, and then drinking, like started drinking a hell of a lot. Yeah. Drinking became big in college for sure.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's why I asked, because college is definitely a transformative moment for most people, where it's like, oh, this is the first time where you're like, oh yeah, people are doing lines. I didn't. Like, because I feel like going from high school to college, because some people have that euphoria. Like I know Alvin was living that euphoria lifestyle, like everything was happening from the age of like 11 or whatever, and he had to make choices. But like for me, by the time I was 18, I was like, he was wrong. He was living in the mean streets. You know, I'm just saying what you say. He said motherfuckers people was fucking and doing drugs and all type of shit in middle school. So you said it. I'm just saying your words. Now, for me, 18 in university is like, oh damn, this is like, I'm walking into a drug den, but it's just a frat house, and it's like, oh shit, this is crazy, you know. So that could be a big watershed moment. So.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm sorry that happened to you, Alvin. I'm here to support you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. So
we work through traumas on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Eddie Pudding. Thank you for being
Anytime.
the hero that I needed.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been one of the
and what you deserve, for sure.
Oh my God. How we doing on time? We closing it out?
I'd say so, unless there's any stuff that's like, ooh, you know.
Josh, thoughts?
I will say, I guess one last thing in terms of like the whole body count, raising sons, you know, especially just to solidify the message, you know, if you got kids, fathers be in their lives, you know what I'm saying? Teach them to do better, even if you might have to fudge the truth a little bit so you can live by a better example. Do that, you know what I'm saying? Stop fucking up the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? At least on our part, you know? It's time to go green.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
It's time to go green.
You've been cooking, man.
I like that. Green masculinity. I like that. Be some Jolly Green Giants. That's full circle from that first FD episode. Okay.
100%.
I like it.
Hello.
So, If you were 11 years old and bearing witness to a euphoria lifestyle, you may have been seeing a red flag.
Yeah.
However, if you left a path of destruction on your way to amassing a huge body count to the point where you're now a little concerned about sharing that with your sons, you may be waving a red flag. It has been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It has been Edward. It has been Josh. It has been Alvin. As we continue to say, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you are taking advantage of all of the membership and Patreon options for all of the people that are interested
full episodes.
in full episodes. 100%. For all the people that are interested in those full episodes, that is a very clear and concise gateway to getting that content in the way that you want it. So make sure that you're taking advantage of those services to get the content in the way that you want.
If you want it, we have it. Come get it. Is what I think he's saying.
100%.
Big facts. If you want it, you got it forever. Parting together.
We have fun.
Roll the clip. Credit. There you go. Roll the credits.
As you light the pyre, chant these words with conviction. Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. By the crimson light of the moon, I offer this sacrifice. Do it now, West. Do it for the blood god. Show me your commitment. Don't hesitate.
Kind of in the back of my mind that if Bitcoin can clear that topside trampoline, you know what? Look, I actually want to draw it out. Let's draw it and leave it. If it can clear this trampoline to the top side, this one, if it can clear this, there is a reason to believe that you can call this a cup and handle pattern. Some people are going to call it an Adam and Eve. Some people are going to call it a cup and handle. I don't really care what you call it. It is there though, and I do see that structure. I've kind of started to notice it as well. And if Bitcoin can start to make that move, statistically, data says that your breakout of that move would place Bitcoin's price somewhere around $115,000. Now, am I going to jump on the gravy train that Bitcoin's about to just absolutely send up to an all-time high? No, not really, guys. I mean, there are a lot of things that need to happen in the world right now. I mean, I think with tariffs and all that stuff, people are spooked and a little bit worried. They obviously have M2 money supply carrying this, and if what Trump does continue to do, you know, if these tariffs and stuff do continue to go into effect, there is the possibility or reason to believe that maybe the Fed does start to look to ease up on the economy a bit, because that is going to constrain the economy. So maybe those things combined could open the door for a move like this. Again, I'm not really going to bet on it right now. We just kind of need to see how this all plays out. But it is there, and it is something that I'm at least thinking about. The fact that if we break this red box, and if we are capable of breaking this key point of resistance right around 95K, we do have a breakout target to the upside of $115,000. So, an interesting thought there to say the least. But the primary focus and the primary thing that I want you to understand is, again, that where we are in the market right now is in decision-making land. Is Bitcoin going to successfully hold this higher low? Use it to clear this level, use it to break above this high that is set that new higher high, and actually start looking to rally upwards? Or are we just going to, maybe just dribble here for a while and then capitulate, kind of eliminating any thoughts that this is going to move? Now, I think a lot of this is going to rely on March 7th. As many of you do know, there's a crypto summit coming up, and I would actually like to pull up a little bit of information on that, so do give me a second. Just kind of regarding it. Let's ask Brock, actually. So what info about the crypto summit do we have right now? kind of see what we got here. Hey, also drink your water. I'm gonna ban you from the live stream. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay. Okay, one of the most prominently mentioned events is the White House Crypto Summit, set for Friday, March 7th, which is in 2 days. This will be the first ever cryptocurrency summit hosted at the White House, signaling a significant shift in U.S. policy towards digital assets. President Donald Trump is expected to deliver remarks, joined by key figures like David Sachs and Bo Hines, director of the president's working group on digital assets. The summit will include prominent founders, CEOs, and investors from the crypto industry. While the exact agenda remains unclear, it's anticipated to focus on establishing clear industry guidelines, expanding stablecoin oversight, and potentially discussing a crypto strategic reserve. This event follows Trump's executive order 14178, which aims to support the responsible growth of digital assets, reversing stricter Biden-era policy. So that is very interesting. We actually talked about it earlier, and Lutnick came out and said that Bitcoin is to be treated differently from altcoins in the U.S. crypto reserve. And I think that's interesting. So I think we're going to get a lot of information. You never know what might happen, right? Maybe I don't want to obviously start speculating, because I think speculation is the leading cause of crypto cancer at this point. But maybe there is some news. I've seen some stuff circulating about the possibility of what's going to be announced for capital gains tax on crypto. Obviously, more regulations and things like that. So I think a lot of important information is going to come out. If the market does rally like crazy into that, like let's just say Bitcoin out of nowhere just starts getting real speculative tomorrow and we start absolutely running, I wouldn't get too into it, right? I would be a little bit nervous because this is a planned event, and planned events will very typically lead to a lot of volatility in both directions. So I would be very careful right now, but I am extremely curious to see what they say. And I do think what they say is going to have a massive impact on what direction we see crypto break out, right? Do we see Bitcoin break through the top side trampoline first or the bottom side trampoline? Do we see it break through this trampoline, clear through it, or do we get bounce off this trampoline and break through this one, right? That's kind of where we are. And I think what we're going to see over the next coming days, again, is going to have a lot to do with what happens here. Now, from a more technical perspective, let's kind of try to get an idea of what seems more likely. Let's just try to see what's more likely here, guys. We might as well. So, looking at this from my perspective, I think it might be smart to go down to your hourly charts to really see. So, let's see. So we obviously got that full correction on the 1 hour chart, as we didn't even make this move here. We're not seeing any bearish divergence quite yet on this move upwards, which is a strong sign that although we are getting rejected, we are still seeing some dominance there. We're seeing a little bit of a cooling down, and actually we are seeing a little bit of bearish divergence. That does go to tell me that maybe there is a lot of resistance coming from this resistance zone, which could be a little bit problematic, obviously. The 4 hour RSI is still sat right around that 50 level, and so that does mean that there is still more room to run. Considering the fact that we didn't really get overextended on this 4 hour RSI here either, it tells me that we definitely do have room to make that move if we want to make the move, but that will be a little bit difficult. Looking at CoinGlass, let me try to get that pulled up. I can't remember where I put it. Here we go. Looking at CoinGlass here and looking at our liquidation map, what we can see here is that liquidations are, boom, 30 day, there you go. Liquidations are still heavily favored towards the upside. They are currently $11.6 billion if Bitcoin does push back above $101,000, while only about $5 billion to the downside. That's a pretty strong balance, but we have seen these sit here for quite a while. And so for me, I think we're kind of at a bit of a 50-50 here. And whenever you generally see this many liquidations on either side of you, it does imply that there's probably going to be volatility on both sides, right? My expectation is that if the market was to kind of just, shake downwards a little bit, maybe even like it did right here, it's going to liquidate a lot of those short traders, freak out all of those short traders who would get liquidated at some lower levels. They're going to close down those short trades. All of these long liquidations are going to stay up here. They're still going to stay available at these top levels, and then the market can run. And that might be what happened here, right? Maybe we made this move, all those short liquidations, or all those long liquidations got available here, came back down to liquidate as many as possible before the rest started closing them off. And now that we have $11 billion in liquidations to the upside, maybe it uses this trampoline to bounce back up to start liquidating them. I mean, I think that's a reasonable plot. I don't see why that can't happen. The market's just not showing a ton of strength right now, and so that is what kind of disconcerts me. I mean, we saw one of the biggest announcements in crypto history a couple days ago, being the crypto strategic reserve, and Bitcoin wasn't even able to maintain 90K. And that's kind of why I do get a little bit concerned about it, because although this has been a fantastic move, like in history and other periods, we would have seen a lot more movement. And I think that just goes to show that retail investors are still spooked. They're still scared. They're not going all in or anything like that right now. And that is why the market's struggling. So My general belief is from a technical and fundamental perspective, the market has a higher chance of making a move upwards than it does downwards. But obviously, we're in an HMZ. I know you guys been waiting, and quite frankly, it is risky, right? It is a risky time to be getting in, and so I would give it a 60-40. I would say a little bit of a higher chance, 60% chance that we do try to make that move upwards. We do try to break through this trampoline and we try to make that move. But I still think that it's almost a coin flip. Because quite frankly, if nothing really important comes out of the summit, if they just use it to shill some bullshit or something like that, if it's a letdown or disappointment, don't be surprised, right? A pullback could be on the way. And so we're still kind of in that decision-making mode. And that's why I told you all, whenever you're range-bound, right, whenever you're going sideways between key resistance levels and key support levels, you can't get too confident in either direction. Not in a market like this. Not in the highest manipulated market we've ever seen in history, right? Because that is the case. People always tell me it's not the truth. This is the most manipulated crypto has ever been in its entire history, and that is fact. That is objectively true. You look at just liquidation history, for example. We have seen more liquidation since November than we've seen throughout, most of ever, basically, right? And in a moment like that, it just goes to show, look, these people who are manipulating these markets, they're having a lot of success, right? They're doing very well. They're making a lot of money. Because, guys, all that money you're getting liquidated, it flows. That's number 4, quite frankly, for you. And knowing that, why would they stop, right? Why would they stop? That's my question for a lot of people. Why would they stop? If they can make money just going up and down, and people are still going super high on leverage, right? We saw how much was it? $5 billion to the downside, $11 billion to the upside. Yeah. If this is available there for them, why would they stop? So that's why I'm not really expecting this market to make a kind of, like big break in either direction right now, and that's why I'm not really trying to bet on it. So with that in mind, it's just where we go, right? And it's just the nature of the beast. It is just what you have to accept. People think that, it's kind of funny. A lot of people think that this is the first time that this has happened, right? That we've never been in an HMC. That's number 2 for me. That we've never been in an HMC. And that this is something, like, this is just the new crypto market, and this is how it's going to be forever. But the reality of it is here, guys, that we've seen things like this before. They've not been as successful in terms of liquidations as this one has been, but we've seen things like this before. We've seen these pullbacks, these consolidationary moments. We've seen them time and time and time again. Just look at last year. If you don't think this was price suppression, I don't know what to tell you. We were approaching a major catalyst. We were seeing wells accumulating while the price was not moving whatsoever. And then, of course, we saw these big swings led by pumps, big swings up and big swings down over and over and over again. In a very similar, structurally, a very similar setup to what we've gotten here, right? We got kind of like that little double top followed by capitulation, higher low continuation. Double top followed by capitulation. Who knows, maybe we get the higher low continuation and make a similar move here. But we've seen things like this before. They don't last forever. We're not going to be in an HMZ for the rest of our lives. Everyone's getting all dramatic saying it's never going to end. Of course it's going to end. But what it's going to take one day is the liquidation is going to have to slow down. This one didn't end until retail investors stopped. Simple as that. They just stopped. This one was worse. People might not believe me. I think because you got a taste of the bullishness before this one started, but this one was worse. If any of you were here in the summer of 2024, that was one of the most boring periods I've ever experienced as a crypto investor, even as a stock investor, right? Because I was investing in stocks prior. I've never experienced anything like that. It sucked. And you notice how, as we got towards the end of it, these swings became smaller and smaller. Smaller pumps, smaller dumps, smaller pumps, smaller dumps. That's because people stopped trying. Retail investors stopped going in on huge leverage trades. They stopped getting greedy. They stopped getting fearful. They just became indifferent to some degree. And that's what opened the door here. And that's what it's going to take right here. And we're not noticing enough of that indifference quite yet, in my opinion, to end this thing. But it obviously has gotten better. We are objectively seeing less interest and less liquidation ability here than we were back here. So, and you can see it, right? Liquidation history, it's trending down, right? You look at it all the time. We are trending downwards. We are setting, lower highs, meaning that, of course, we are seeing less liquidations on every single one of these big moves. And that means that people are falling for the trap less and less, but I can't imagine that we're in a spot to where that's enough. I think there's probably going to be more liquidations that'll come. There'll be more liquidity hunts. There'll be more periods for people to lose money. And then once people start giving up, then that's when your market's going to make its move. It'll either try to make that move up or down. Obviously, I'm not here to try to speculate on that. I'm just here to tell you the nature of what we're seeing right now. And So with that in mind, that's kind of where we are with the crypto market in general, especially with Bitcoin. I think that's all that really matters. You know, a lot of people are doing individual technical analysis on Ethereum and Solana, and I will do that in a second here after I take a water break. Drink your water, I'll ban you from the chat. But I think the majority of what you need to be focused on these days is Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is leading the market. It is painting the picture. It's telling us what's going to happen. The market's following Bitcoin. When Bitcoin shows strength, the market does okay. When Bitcoin shows no strength, the market does really bad. Okay, it does really bad. And so watching Bitcoin incredibly closely is what's very important, and obviously watching the liquidation maps as well is extremely important. So that's kind of where we are with the crypto market. I'm sorry, I just went on a 30-minute ranter just then, but I wanted to just catch you up completely on where we are with the market. And kind of just to summarize, Bitcoin is making a very important decision. It's ranging between two key trampolines, and one of them is going to break, opening the door for continuation in that direction. I think that is going to revolve around what we hear from the crypto summit coming in a couple days, so do expect some volatility. And considering the fact that liquidations are so high right now, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever if we do start to see big liquidations and liquidity hunts, especially throughout the end of this week and throughout this weekend. So with that in mind, I'm obviously just going to kind of pull back the reins a little bit. I'm just going to kind of let this market play out as it's going to. So yeah, so let me take a quick little second, 2 minutes. Let's jump into the chat. Let's do a little 2 or 3 minutes in the chat, and then yeah, then I'll go into more of what my strategy is right now. Very basic, very simple stuff. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions real quick in the chat. We'll answer those, and we'll keep it pushing. And I want to get something pulled up for you here. Give me 1 second. All right, so one thing, while you guys are leaving your questions in the chat, I just want to kind of run you through this real quick. Okay, so what I want you guys to do real quick, while you are leaving some questions and before we get to the Q&A part, head to the link down below. I have 2 free guides in the description for you right now. There is a Crypto for Beginners guide for any of you who are brand new to the world of crypto. It goes over a lot of stuff, guys. I mean, I'm talking about a lot of stuff. How to get started in crypto, what to be on the lookout for, what charts are, what are indicators, what are technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and more. And then there's a Beyond the Basics one for some of you who are a little bit more experienced. And this dives even deeper into the world of technical analysis, leverage trading, fundamental analysis, and some of the more complicated stuff. So both of those things are available for you down in the description below right now. It's 2 bit.ly links. It'll say get my 2 free guides here. Go click both of those, enter in your email, enter in your information. You'll sign up, and we will send you these ourselves, as well as some extra educational material and much more. So feel free to go check those out down in the description below if that is interesting to you. And I will remind you all, while I'm waiting on a couple more questions, I did get the Instagram up at TylerHillYT_, and the TikTok as well, Tyler Hill Crypto. If any of those things interest you, you can check it out down below. All right, Connor Kinney is absolutely 1,000% a financial advisor. Connor said some well-opened big-time ETH positions. More infos and thoughts on that. I did see that as well. I think so. The guy who opened up those big ETH and Bitcoin positions actually ended up changing his name, his like on-chain identity to March 7th. Meaning, I don't freaking know what that means, quite frankly. But there has been a lot of speculation around March 7th, and so I think that is worth noting at least. And I do think that's interesting for sure. Thanks for the chat. I completed that yesterday, but haven't received the free guides. When can I expect them? You should have got them. Maybe go check your spam, go check your junk, go to the search and type in Tyler Hill and see if anything's popped up there. If still nothing's there, do message me, but I've seen a lot of the emails being sent out. So you should have gotten it already. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about someone named Ryan. What are we talking about? 3.7 is the crypto thing. Yeah, that's the summit. So that's the summit that's coming in 2 days. What are your 3 coins that you don't touch and hold for the long term? The only one I don't do anything to for the most part. I don't actually have any that I don't do anything to. I take profits off of everything. But the ones that I leave alone the most are probably Bitcoin, Solana, just because my average cost on Solana is like $30, and I don't really sell that much Ethereum, although I kind of think Ethereum's a little bit shitty, to be honest, like especially after being in ETH Denver. I do think that there is some potential still for it to kind of lead, like be an industry anchor for the altcoin market, so I don't really touch it much. But I know that's boring, but it's just, you know. Okay. Okay. All right, let's keep it pushing then. So let's kind of talk about what my strategy is, what my game plan is. and kind of where I'm at with all this. So I'm going to give you guys my strategy. I'll tell you what I'm doing right now, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper actually into, we'll do some technical analysis on some of these altcoins, and then yeah, I think we're going to, we'll do a Q&A at the end, and then we'll probably wrap it up today, okay? Okay, so my strategy currently. Well, you guys aren't going to particularly love what I'm about to say, but I'm really just not doing anything. I think I said that in the school yesterday. So I said in the school yesterday, which I'm going to show to you in a few minutes here, but I said this is a huge wait and see moment for me right now. As you can see, Bitcoin's price is currently sitting on top of the micro golden zone around $82,200. This zone, the red box, will likely determine whether Bitcoin maintains structural support and remains on track for 100K, or if it breaks down, opening the door for a potential downward Fibonacci extension as low as $69,000. Given how high the stakes are, I'm not making any moves today, just sitting back and watching. And I'm really going to do the same thing today, guys, to be honest with you. I haven't made any buys in a couple days, and it's just because I'm not confident. You know, I'm just not very confident. The way that I see it is we have one of two things is going to happen, quite frankly. Bitcoin's going to break this trampoline here and open up the door for a move to anywhere from 99,000 to 105,000. Or it's going to clear this trampoline to the bottom side, lose this golden zone, and then it's going to open up the door for it to fall anywhere from 74,000 to 69,000. There are very big stakes right now. There are high stakes on whether or not Bitcoin breaks through this resistance or this support. And knowing just how much I think this market's going to really start moving depending on what happens there, I'm not going to do anything. Now, hey, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe Bitcoin comes back down, it loses its support, it comes back down, and then it hits this support level, and then it returns again and hits this one, right? And then we just create a more expanded wedge, or, you know, realistically a consolidatory channel. Maybe that does happen. That's just not likely. It's not what's like that. It's like a 25-30% chance. It's a 70% chance that when Bitcoin decides to either clear the red box or this red box, we're going to see this market try to move heavily in one of those directions over time. It's not going to go just straight up or straight down. Obviously, there will be back tests and consolidations and stuff. But history just shows that when you break through these key levels, you're going to start opening those doors for macro swings, right? And again, I'm not just making that up. You can kind of see this, right? If I kind of do this, swing low to swing high. Do you see how Bitcoin was maintaining on top of this trampoline, right? The golden Fibonacci zone for a while. It held it, but the moment it lost it, this shit just, like, everybody hit the deck. Gurney got kicked straight down the stairs. Bitcoin is absolutely capitulated. That's what I'm talking about. That's normally what happens, and that's kind of what I'm assuming will happen here, either to the upside or to the downside. So, what am I doing? Well, my current strategy remains the same. While we are maintaining support, I will keep buying. Like, for example, I did do a little bit of buying on the 3rd of March, which was 2 days ago. I bought some Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, ADA, XRP, Ondo, and SWI, just because these are obviously your US-based cryptos. These are the ones that should perform well if the US does really go heavy into crypto. And obviously, I think that's the clear narrative to get behind. There's not enough retail investors in the market right now to drive our own narratives, so we need to just follow the narratives that are being pushed to us, and that means buying the ones that are a part of, you know, strategic reserve and stuff like that. That's my strategy. So I did buy some of those on the 2nd. The 2nd was right back here. I bought those roughly. It could not have been right. It had to be when the market started. Hold on. That must have been the 3rd. Oh, yeah, the 3rd of March. I was about to say, that doesn't make sense. So I started buying them on the 3rd, right around this level here, and then the market's rallied. I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking profits on it just because it was a tiny little purchase. If it was bigger, maybe I would. But yeah, that's all I'm realistically going to do. I have considered opening up a leverage trade here, just for shits and giggles, like 3x, 5x, something like that. Stop loss set around $92,500. Take profit level expected around 84.4K. I've thought about it, but it would just be such a tiny trade, and I haven't leverage traded in like 2 or 3 months because this market's shitty. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I have considered it. It's not a terrible trade to take on because the opportunity of, you know, a move of this nature is very there. But obviously, with the crypto summit coming up, us pumping into that summit would make a ton of sense. So I still think it's a little risky. And why give up games? You know what I mean? Like, why give up games? Why take a risk losing some money when I could just dollar cost average the next time we fall and very likely be up in, you know, either soon or a long time. So buying and holding right now is going to lead to easy gains over a long term, right? A couple years at most. And so to me, I'm just not really doing any risking with that. You know, that's something that I tell people a lot. Is like, have there been opportunities for me to open up leverage trades in here? Yeah. And are there some where I would have won big? Yeah, absolutely. Again, I told you all on stream that I actually wanted to open up a leverage short trade if Bitcoin did lose this golden zone here, because I would expect it to come back towards 84K. And that's what happened. But the risk of that is that it might not have happened. We're in a heavily manipulated zone. And knowing just because it did this doesn't mean it might have just done the opposite. It might have held this golden zone. We might have rallied back up here, and I'd have just lost money. And that could have been money I just used to DCA throughout this time. You know what I mean? So to me, just leverage trading right now is just too. It's just not only is it too risky because the market's manipulated, but in addition to that, the gains right now are easy. We're in extreme fear. We're rarely in extreme fear. There has not been one moment in Bitcoin history before November of 2024 that if you bought in extreme fear, you lost. If you held it up until November of 2024. Any time before this that we were in extreme fear and you bought, you were up. And so considering we're in extreme fear right now, that's how I feel the same way. I'd just rather DCA if I'm going to do anything, rather than take a risk on a leverage trade when it's not really going to compound my gains that much. So that's kind of where I am. Now, I know some of you guys are leverage trading, and I'm fine with it. Like, I don't blame you. You know, there are opportunities here. There is structure that makes a lot of sense, right? There are obviously your Fibonacci zones that open up these doors for pretty solid swing trades. But overall, I'm just not doing it. If you are doing it, let me show something to you real quick. I have been back demo trading a little bit to get my feet wet again before I do jump back in because it's been a couple months. And I've just been back on BTCC about 50-60% of the time. So if you do want to check out BTCC and you are an experienced trader who knows what they're doing, not a beginner. If you're a beginner, do not touch this, leave this alone. But if you know what you're doing, head to the link down below. You will get a 10% bonus on all first time deposits between $500 and $100,000. Meaning if you deposit, say $10,000, they'll give you $1,000 to start trading with. And whatever profit you make from that $1,000 is yours to keep. So it's a very good deal. There are some terms and conditions, so do go check that out. That is linked down below as well. Again, only if you're experienced and if you know what you're doing. Only if you're experienced and know what you're doing. If you're a beginner, leverage trading is going to, it's just going to wreck you. You're going to lose. You're going to blame everyone but yourself. Don't do it. Just trust me, just don't do it. Okay. But yeah, so that's my strategy. Not much right now. If at any given point Bitcoin does fall back towards, let's go ahead and call it 82K. If we do see Bitcoin back at 82K, I'll probably do a little bit more buying. You know what I mean? I'll probably accumulate a little bit more at some of these levels and kind of just play the game and see what happens, right? Do we hold or not? And obviously, I've told you all, the more Bitcoin falls, if it falls, the more I'll be doing. I reinvested only about 10% of the profits that I took a couple days ago, and for that reason specifically. Because if Bitcoin does fall to, 78K or 73K or 69K, I want to redeploy, 30%, 25%, 40%. I want to invest bigger amounts at these lower levels rather than, throwing it all back in right now. So not really doing too much, sitting back, waiting and watching. And then, just going to kind of let it play out here. Let us see which one of these trampolines we are going to clear first. And then that's going to tell me the direction that I want to go with the final. Right. I saw one of you ask me if I was going to take profits. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yeah, I'm probably going to. If Bitcoin's price does push back into this zone between anywhere, let's go ahead and call it from $99,000 all the way up to 109. If we see Bitcoin get back in here at any given point, I am going to be taking a hefty amount of profit off the table. And the only reason that I do that is because we did see such a major signal of weakness here from the crypto market. It tells me that when this bear market does come, if it's not here already, it is going to hit very fast. And I got beat up last bull market, guys. Because we had a moment just like this last bull market. We recovered back up to those range highs. Oh no, this wasn't the bull market. It was right here. I was about to say that does not look right. When we saw this pullback, we came all the way back up to these range highs, and then the market capitulated, right? And it happened very fast. This was the warning signal, and then this was the bear market. And knowing that I got burned when that happened, if we do see Bitcoin's price push back up towards, $99,000, $109,000, I am going to be taking a lot of profit. Like 20-30% of my position I'll probably close down. Just to lock in more. You guys got to understand, I was buying Bitcoin at 29,000, 21,000, 17,000. I think the lowest purchase was actually, right around the level. I missed this bottom, but I caught it right here roughly.
Oh, that's crazy. So I was buying Bitcoin at 20K, 30K. And now that my position, those buys specifically are up 3, 4, 5x, it's like the reasonable thing to do is when you get this big warning signal like this, that whenever the bull market does end, it's going to be brutal. You're going to want to go in and take a little profit off the table. I'm obviously not closing the majority of my position. I'm probably gonna leave 60-70% of my position open, even if the bear market does start, because I am a long-term investor. I'm not trying to play the short-term game. I'm not trying to sell some right here to rebuy it right here. Would it have worked? Sure. Will it work always? No, right? I'll miss bottoms and stuff. That's annoying. I'm a long-term investor, and so I am going to be just leaving most of my positions open, but I am going to be taking profits on some, especially. At no point will I sell to the downside, as long as nothing fundamentally changes within the world of crypto. Like, for example, if the bear market is here and Bitcoin just capitulates to say 60K, I'm not going to start selling. It is what it is. I'm just going to ride out it, right? I'm glad I didn't sell last time. Like, even though I could have sold right here, I'm glad I didn't, because me having those bags
kept me engaged. It kept me up in the game. It kept me watching the charts, and that's the reason I was able to buy so much during these pullbacks. Me selling right here, had I sold right here, I'd probably miss this because I'd have started focusing my interest in other places, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to buy here. And so I'm not going to sell. If we go into a bear market, it just is what it is. I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to go through another bear market. I've been through a couple of them. It's not that big a deal. You just got to kind of thicken up that skin for it. And yeah, so I will take profits if we pump. I won't be selling if we start dumping. But if we do start dumping, I will be buying a lot. And I'm talking about a lot. So that's just kind of where we are with that. Now, for more of a beginner strategy perspective, let me actually go over here. Do you all remember I opened up a brand new portfolio? I opened up a brand new portfolio. It was the beginner crypto investing portfolio, and I told you all that I was going to be making moves in it as if I was a brand new beginner with $10,000 ready to invest in crypto. Well, I still have that portfolio, and I want to update you all on that real quick. Okay. The current portfolio looks like this. Of the $10,000, I still have $7,800 roughly in cash, which means I'm 78% in cash. I started this portfolio, I believe, let's see. I started this portfolio on February 11th, okay? And yeah, so I had $2,102 fiat version of crypto, and then of course about $8,000 or $7,800 worth of cash. Now, overall, the portfolio itself is down. We can see here, there should be a way to see my overall. I don't know, I'm blind right now. 1 second. Oh yeah, there we go. So all-time profit is down about $100 off that $10,000. So that means the total portfolio is down about 1%, which isn't too dang on shabby. The portfolio is broken down like this at the exact moment. As you can see, I have some Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently makes up roughly, I wish there was a way I could see the percentages. Oh, there we go. It makes up about 15%. And then I also have Solana at 2%, ETH at 2%, and then the rest at less than 1% of the total bag itself. This is the way that I'm looking at the market right now. I think Bitcoin is this much more important than the alts, and so that's why I'm so heavily invested into it. And then overall, again, you know, some of these positions are doing okay. For example, you know, Cardano, I'm at a 22% profit on that one. Up there, I'm at a 10% profit. XRP, I'm barely in profit. And then some of these other ones I'm down, obviously. At about a 0.50% loss for BTC. 16%, 17, and 24% down on some of these other ones. So that's just kind of where we are right now. I'm just letting it ride. I told you all I was going to start this crypto portfolio at what many people believe to be the very top of the bull market, and then I'll show you all that. Even if we are at the top of the bull market, this portfolio is going to make money in the long term if you have enough patience, simple enough strategy, and just enough dedication to the crypto space. This portfolio is going to make money. Mark my words, it's going to make money. Matter of fact, at one point it was up already $100. Now I don't care about that. Again, I'm not thinking about the gains. I'm not taking profit out of this thing for a while. But the reality of this portfolio is this is a good example, right? Me as someone who's been in this market for 6 or 7 years, I'm willing to, you know, I started this portfolio a month ago and I'm down too, right? So there's no exceptions. Everyone's down. Everyone's getting beat up. Many people are losing money. But you notice the conviction that I have is like, I don't care. I don't care that I'm at 1%. Don't care. It makes no difference. Because at the end of the day, if you give me enough time and a very, 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 like, I don't know, just simple enough strategy, it will make money. Just watch. Mark my words, okay? So I just wanted to update you on that. I haven't made any transactions in a while. I don't know if I can see transactions. Yeah, I haven't done much. The last time that I was doing some stuff, I bought Bitcoin at $80,000. I also, before that, bought Bitcoin at around $89,000. And that was like the last thing I did. I did a pretty big purchase. I deployed 5% of my total portfolio into Bitcoin at once at $80,300. And that was, let's see, what date was that again? That was on February 27th. So that was roughly, that was right here. Okay, so I deployed about 5% of my cash into Bitcoin right here. Obviously wrote it out, pull it back a little bit. So that's what I've done with that portfolio. And yeah, and so that's kind of where we are. Obviously, this isn't my main portfolio. Again, this is just a portfolio that I'm using as an example to show, even if you start investing at what many people believe to be the top of the bull market, you can still make money over the long run. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else in terms of strategy. I am obviously looking at alt, and we are going to do a technical analysis session, like a rapid fire TA session on altcoins in a few minutes here. But I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting. No, nothing I can think of. All right, so that's my strategy. I will let you know. I will let you guys know as well. If you do want to see, like, obviously when I did buy Bitcoin at $80,000 and all that stuff, that is all.
What's going on? So I do not see them holding on to this. And I think this may be one of the first dominoes to fall for the IRS in regards to the Trump administration and how they'll be attacking them and going after them. Again, right now it's been a semi-slow roll. Of course, he said he's not hiring all those Asians. Biden said he was going to put, I mean, really think about that. The last president said he wants 80-something thousand new IRS agents. For what, man? Why are you trying to come after Americans, man? What's going on, brother? Shout out to this administration for cutting IRS legs. All right, it is what it is. And I got family who work there too. It is what it is. They're not helping nobody right now. The Senate voted 70 to 27 on March 4th to approve a motion to repeal the rule that would expand existing IRS reporting requirements to include decentralized exchanges and require brokers to disclose gross proceeds from crypto sales, including information regarding taxpayers involved in the transaction. So again, this isn't passing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it passes as soon as Trump leaves office. So I'm not looking that far ahead. I'm going to look at the right now while we're in this wild, wild west. And it looks like, again, it's not looking great. So the resolution now moves to the House, where it will need to be passed before being sent to President Donald Trump. The White House's AI and crypto czar David Sachs has said Trump supports killing the rule. So again, the House being red right now, it would be kind of crazy to see them go against this, especially for something kind of smaller. You can see here Christian Smith, CEO of the Crypto Advocacy Group and Blockchain Association, said in March 4th post on X that was a big day for DeFi in the U.S. crypto industry. Quote, the effort to repeal this rule should be seen as part of a broader move to keep crypto in the U.S. I agree. Continues on saying DeFi is an American strategic strength, and today's action helps ensure it will continue to develop on home soil. So, of course, everyone wants this pro-innovation, but of course the IRS just wants more money. As I said, first of many dominoes. I think we'll see this one kind of fall first, or we'll see. I think we'll see the administration will see how much the IRS fights back on this. Again, this is one of those chips I would almost give away. Like, this is a card I would play. Like, you're not going to hold on to this. This is DeFi. Who are you going to go after? That would be another 3 years of investigation to come out on the other side and say, you know what? This is legitimately an open source project. Somebody paid for 4 years of service space in this bad boy, and we don't know which direction to turn now. Or you actually do take down a project or tax it or get all this crypto information. I mean, wild goose chase. I just don't understand how it could work, because I don't think they understand for DeFi side of the house. Why are you hooking up any type of taxpayer info? Now that I think about it out loud, like on the DeFi side of the house, it is all crypto. It's crypto to crypto. So it's just like, I'm not even like, I'm thinking about some of the DeFi platforms I'm on. I'm like, you know what? Now that I think about it, there's a ton of DeFi platforms I've never not been on without using a VPN. I've never not been on without using a random wallet or a test wallet. And I've never not been connected to those wallets by an email or my own IP address at most times. So I'm really even thinking to myself, I'm like, let's say you did want to do a deep dive IRS and go after these DeFi exchanges. I'm just one person. That is going to take an expert in the IRS to really backward engineer and track all of my own personal things. So I can only imagine someone who's really out, I'm not a whale. Imagine a whale who's really out here making plays and really trying to cover the track or whatever else. It's like, you're not going to find that in a timely fashion. You'll find that in 2030 and 2028 and be charging people. So again, it's one of those things, do we want to spend the taxpayer money to see the IRS pursue the DeFi sector? I would say no. That would be a terrible waste of American funds of that there. We'll see what happens, but again, the Senate is saying no go. The executive branch is saying if it comes here, we're saying no go. And now it's being left to the House. I don't see them guarding the IRS DeFi broker rule with everything else going on. I think it'll be a no-go. We'll see what happens here soon, though. Let's see. Dr. Croncron said, I don't like how I go to a pro baseball game and I can't pay with cash. What's the point of cash now? Listen, cash in Los Angeles, for the most part, is being reserved to like super local stuff and almost a bartering. Cash is almost looked at as a bartering system out here. Like, Yeah, you know, we have a ton of food vendors and food trucks, and this is LA. Those who don't know, this is like upper Mexico, okay? We got all types of people in the street selling things or old stores that's been here for 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of folks do not take, those type of folks, they don't take electronic payments, right? They don't like credit cards, and like you talk about the markets that are nearby, family-owned spots. They actually don't like credit cards, debit, all that stuff. They like cold hard cash. There's a lot of places in LA where if you don't have cash, you can't buy things. But in all the mainstream places, like the new coffee shops, the new malls and stores, the clothes, all the modernized spots, which is like the majority now, it's actually the opposite. They don't accept cash, right? So you go to some of the nicer restaurants in LA, if you bring a pocket full of money thinking you're about to throw the money on the table and show out, they're gonna look at you crazy like, I hope you got an iPhone, buddy, or some type of plastic in there, because we're not taking cash here anymore. So I know what you mean, Dr. Crown, that is happening here as well for the more modern places and newer places. They are not taking cash. It's kind of crazy how that's working alone. So yeah, I mean, I think right now Bitcoin again has shown how crazy our economic system is right now. Who's taking what, where, and how, regardless of what the United States says. And yeah, I mean, again, we'll see what happens next, right? This is why the IRS wants to get a hold on it, because they're like, people aren't even using cash. We can't just tax the cash. We need to tax everything. We shall see what happens. Blockstream to launch Bitcoin lending funds with multi-billion-dollar investment. Blockstream is set to launch 3 funds in total, 2 of which will allow institutional investors to lend and borrow with Bitcoin collateral. Folks, not only is it here, but hilariously, how can I say this? Hilariously, I can't say the word, but comically, is here, what, how many years late? The masterclass came out in 2021, I believe, 2020, and 2021. And one of the most popular sections of that class was the collateralized loans. A lot of people have done it since then. But that is essentially storing your Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever else, wrap Bitcoin in that case. At the time, it was on the Aave platform and a few other platforms. But that's essentially saying, hey, you can hold on to my crypto. I'll take out the cash equivalent. When it's time for me to pay it back, I'll get my crypto back. That same amount of crypto I'll let you hold. DeFi platform, or in this case, will be a centralized platform. I expect that crypto back, and whatever the price is, the price is. So again, this came to the DeFi side of the house first for the most part. We saw Coinbase try to start a lending program, some other things. The SEC shut them down. I believe that was like in 2022 when that happened. But it's official. It looks like it's coming to the mainstream now. It makes sense. The good thing about this, while it will be rife with regulatory issues as far as things you need to do to be compliant, this is the next step for the mainstream to start buying houses and cars with using their crypto as a collateral asset. So this is big news. You can see 10 to 15% of the market. That's a high, 5% of the market start changing from regular loans to doing Bitcoin or crypto collateralized loans. I mean, whoo, companies' balance sheets are about to be different. Companies are going to blow up off this. Some companies are going to go down off this, but this is a movie by itself. Lending, Bitcoin and crypto lending investments will be a movie within itself. I guarantee it, because the same deal is going to happen. First, this is going to launch, or let's say, whatever. I haven't read the story yet. So right now it's Blockstream, right? Blockstream launches it eventually. BlackRock will launch something eventually. Wells Fargo, whatever, Chase Bank will launch something where we have these crypto lending programs and all this other stuff. After it's launched, mark my words, then here comes the derivatives, right? Well, hey, why can't we put these lending funds in the same basket as ETFs, right? Why can't we put these lending funds on the stock exchange or whatever, like derivatize lending funds? That will come after they create the fund. Now you can derivatize it. So the craziness of that is essentially these funds will be holding the asset, the crypto, not your keys, not your cheese. They'll be holding the crypto assets. And then at the same time, on the balance sheets, they say, hey, we actually have 20 million more in profit this year because of these crypto assets. Not understanding is actually also debt if they don't pay the cash equivalent back, and you get caught in the bear market, that will actually be debt. But I'm sure they won't put that on the balance sheet. Once you have that there, they say, all right, well, we have these crypto assets sitting here. Now let's put a derivative on it. What are we going to do? They just we can't just have crypto sitting here as a derivative. I wouldn't be surprised if these same places started lending crypto. instead of cash. They say, hey, not only are we doing, we can store your crypto here as a Bitcoin lending fund, but on the flip side, we can lend you crypto. So there's so many ways to make money off this one thing, and I don't see Blockstream maybe doing that, but definitely when it gets in the hands of the BlackRocks and the Chases of the world, they're going to figure out a way to throw those derivatives on it. So this is Bitcoin developer Blockstream has secured a multi-billion-dollar investment to launch 3 new institutional funds, including 2 that will enable lending on Bitcoin, or excuse me, lending Bitcoin. Again, this is going to be big news. I'm glad to see Blockstream is one of the first folks to really come out with this investment and try to move this forward. I like to see them do it, as far as they've been doing great by the project so far, so why not lead this as well? Looks like Blockstream's institutional grade Bitcoin investment solutions will go live on April 1st with external capital acceptance opening on July 1st, the firm stated on X on March 4th, confirming an earlier Bloomberg report. They added that the investment products, what I tell you, those derivatives, will offer Bitcoin-backed lending and secure institutional financing with Bitcoin collateral, USD collateralized borrowing, enabling investors to unlock liquidity without selling Bitcoin, and hedge fund strategies offering institutional grade exposure to Bitcoin markets. So this is kind of, when you look at strategy, this is something they could definitely do and be successful at. All the Bitcoin they have stored up, or even BlackRock, right? You do a partnership with a company that's liquid, a VC firm I can see hopping in here. You get into bed with these liquid companies, and then yeah, you just start storing and collecting Bitcoin. Now, the other issue that will come with this, and here's the X post where Blockstream essentially promotes it: Bitcoin-backed lending, USD collateralized borrowing, and hedge fund strategies. The only other issue with this, of course, is it's going to honeypot and centralize a lot of crypto buckets, right? You already have exchanges doing it, that's bad enough. But now you're gonna have different funds start doing it, whether it's the Blockstreams, the BlackRocks, or the Chases like I mentioned, or whether it's a new wealth institutional fund, small one here in this state, small one here in that state, or whatever. The bottom line is, we are starting to aggregate crypto and Bitcoin even more, and this is the antithesis of the entire project, right? It is supposed to be peer-to-peer, it's supposed to be decentralized, right? It's supposed to be stored everywhere, nodes everywhere, but instead, we're taking a step backward, saying, no, 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 no. We don't want it super decentralized, we don't want it everywhere. You give it all to me. And the crazy thing is, this is all in interest of making more money. I'm not blaming Blockstream, I get it. But this is, and somebody would do it if they didn't do it as well. But this is all in interest of making more money and not in the interest of technology. So it is going in the wrong direction as far as Bitcoin cybersecurity, or what it would seem to be a cybersecurity, right? Like the blockchain is secure, but how people are storing it is making the storage of it unsecure, which will affect the perception of the blockchain, right? So even though the blockchain is not getting hacked, people don't even know enough about it. All they're gonna know is that I did my lending with them, I left my Bitcoin on this exchange, and all is going together, right? The lending Bitcoin got hacked, the exchange Bitcoin got hacked, and they told me having a private wallet was illegal. What do I do? So this is what I mean by this bubble is forming. This to me is part of the bubble because we're centralizing more Bitcoin, and I'm sure by the end of this year, next year, I think if you really would look at trends and charts, there'll probably be more Bitcoin centralized in the next couple of years than it has ever been out there. And that's all, again, because these companies are trying to make more money. I get it, I get it, I get it, but I hope they understand the consequences of these actions. The consequences of saying, hey, instead of Bitcoin, let's say, instead of, I don't know, instead of 5 million Bitcoin being spread across 5 million different people, they're saying, no, 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 let's spread out 5 million Bitcoin between 6 wallets, essentially 6 different organizations, and all those people will come to us when they need to do their lending or they need to actually get their crypto or Bitcoin back. It'll just be spread across 6 different institutions. That is a big accident waiting to happen, and that's, by the way, if it's even happening. Let's not even mention the greedy people who work at these companies who might do themselves in, right? Like, oh yeah, we got hacked. It's like, but we looked at the back end and it said you use your own user code to log in. Somebody must have hacked me first. Yeah, you did it from your home computer though. What are you talking about? We have you on camera typing at the same time the hack happened. No, I don't know what happened. No, we zoomed in. It looks like you're on the website where the actual hack happened. Oh man, I don't know. I plead the fifth. Okay, the point is, it wouldn't surprise me how these folks are in it. Let me look at a couple quick comments before I jump on this last story of the day. It wasn't many news stories, but it was some powerful ones. Oh my. Power 9 said we must play in the dark and light, decentralized and centralized. Both are needed in the world. Learn to play the game by the rules laid out, and then learn to play your own game. There it is. Yeah, learn from Celsius. Laura said, I learned from Celsius, do not lend anything. I'm with you on that. I trust the DeFi platforms more than I do the centralized platforms when it comes to lending, only because a lot of their processes are already codified, right? They're algorithmic, seriously, as far as like, if X happens, then Y happens. As long as these parameters don't happen, nothing happens. Whereas a centralized exchange, they may have those algorithms, but they're only there as alerts. They're there just to let the exchange owner or operators know, like, hey, you might want to click on this and make sure that money stops flowing out, right? Whereas the DeFi spots, that's not really happening like that. It's like whatever way the wave rolls, that's where it's going. So, but I'm with you on that. Jake's, who else we have? They can guarantee a certain amount of crypto or Bitcoin for paying into a policy most people will pay. I can see that as well. Life insurance crypto products, I can see that also. I can definitely see that. Truly understanding Bitcoin helps you recognize suckers everywhere real easy. You already know it. Laura said I had a client, I was mad because he had to pay for more checks, and they don't really accept checks anywhere anymore. People just don't change. Oh my goodness. It's still people, like the checking system is so big here in Hollywood. I'm always looking at them sideways like, why are y'all still sending me checks, man? Like, it takes so long. No one wants a check. I mean, I finally just started using my cell phone to deposit checks as well. Like, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bank and mess with this. Great. All right, last story, but certainly not least. Say it ain't so. Listen, I actually think I covered this a year or two ago when I was like, it was some suspect stuff coming from Bybit. But people have called out and told me, pump the brakes on covering this Bybit story, acting like they're victims. It turns out Bybit has been scamming their own folks. Bybit has been scamming their users now for the better part of a year or two. It sounds like, I'm about to bring up some evidence, but it sounds like the way the play works is Bybit is out of the blue asking all its users to verify themselves, right? So you can log on without verification, you can send money without verification, but if you try to withdraw that money, Bybit is now asking for verification, folks out there. So essentially what's happening is a lot of people around the world, of course, are not verifying, and Bybit is keeping those funds. So it looks like this Lazarus attack, I mean, listen, we should be not only welcoming this, we should be praising the Lazarus group when they're behind it. I need to get on X to let everybody know, praise the Lazarus group. They're operating like Anon right now. I think they saw a bad actor and they went after them. I do not feel bad for Bybit now that I know what's going on. I've talked to some people. Bybit is out here keeping the crypto, y'all. They out here stealing people's funds, and they want you to feel bad about this hack. No, and that's why I said that one guy from Thorchain was talking about quitting. I was like, don't quit on behalf of this. Like, this is a part of the game. And that's what I mean. Now the full story comes out. I'm breaking it because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. But the full story is that Bybit is scamming and stealing from users. And then they were hacked by the Lazarus group. And looking at the amount of people on these different forums and message boards that are saying, hey, they keep my money, I put a lot of money in there and stuff. It looks like it looks like Lazarus took out the right amount. Bybit got a tax that they needed to get taxed as well. Bybit got their tuition the same way everyone else gets it. Do not feel bad for them. Don't put any extra resources toward them. They're getting what they deserve. They are out here keeping people's crypto, folks. They keeping the crypto, y'all. Bybit asks DAO to return fees earned from hacked transactions. Hell no. PairSwap DAO members were split, with some supporting the conditional return of the fees and others voting against the fund. Hey, if anybody messes with PairSwap after this video, please share the video to them, all right? Tag PairSwap. Don't give Bybit back shit. They are doing their users wrong. They're not paying people their crypto back, and they are literally keeping folks crypto. Don't give them shit. Bybit confirmed it was behind a proposal requesting that decentralized finance protocol PairSwap return fees earned from swaps conducted by the Lazarus group using digital assets stolen from the exchange. All right, so let's make sure we get this clear here. Bybit has proposed to PairSwap to return the fees let's be clear, Paraswap didn't do anything wrong. Why would we return fees? For one, that's going to make us not look decentralized at all. So Paraswap, if you want to destroy your business model, yeah, go ahead and return that money. Or you can say good luck to you just like everyone else. I don't care about this story about Bybit asking Paraswap. The important thing is to note that Bybit is out here trying to cry and get the world's help and saying that they've been done so wrong, when in reality they are the ones doing the most wrong. All you need to do is a simple Bybit funds stuck Google search. That's all I did. A quick one just to see what people are telling me are real. And you can see here, Bybit froze withdrawal for suspicious activity. Bybit has frozen by 11K in coins. What else we have? Deposit stuck in pending assets with Bybit. What else we have? My funds stuck on Bybit for over a month. Like, Bybit withdrawal stuck on processing. Support won't fix it. That's what I've been hearing the most. That support is non-existent. So that is just Googling Bybit funds stuck. Not saying that they did it. I just put Bybit funds stuck. When I actually start going into detail about I can't get my funds on Bybit and so on and so forth, oh my goodness, folks, they are out here doing people wrong. They're doing folks wrong. Listen, here's a Reddit tab from just a year ago. Someone talking about, hey, I deposited my money in Bybit. I went to withdraw it, and all of a sudden, I got a message about suspicious activity. I was told I get sent an email with what to do and how to verify documents. But one, this is what a lot of people have been saying, they don't receive the emails, or they don't even receive anything from support after they talk to them. And then the second thing is they don't even want to do the KYC. But it looks like some people are doing the KYC and still not getting it. Here's 6 months ago, same issue here. Bybit has the worst support. I submit all documents, don't answer yet, avoid Bybit exchange. Someone else, I had the same issue 9 months ago. Everyone's asking. Bybit's out here stealing money. Bybit is out here stealing people money, folks. So I say don't feel bad. I'm glad the hack happened. Shout out to North Korean Lazarus Group. They were behind it. Way to tag them. Way to make them charge them for tuition. Bybit, you thought you was gonna be out here stealing money and nobody else? What, you thought you was the only gang in town? No, don't come to the world crying and feeling sorry. $1.5 billion. They did $1.5 billion funds in 10 days. I said from the first day, I wouldn't be surprised if someone from Bybit was in on it, folks. They've been doing people dirty. It wouldn't surprise me at the end of this investigation, somebody from Lazarus Group said, yeah, we did it on the behest of Bybit. And everybody's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, y'all think we that smart? Come on, folks, we social engineer our attacks over there at North Korean Lazarus Group. Let's not forget that. They do a lot of social engineering over there. So it wouldn't surprise me when this is all said and done 2 or 3 years from now, we find out that not only did the Lazarus Group do it, but they did it because Binance paid them to do it, right? But it's going to come up like, yeah, Binance sells, we keep half. We give them the other half on the back end. They've been stealing users' crypto. They're not a friend of the cryptocurrency community, and they got tagged. There it is. So what? I hope the news cycle of this ends sooner rather than later. They stopped feeling bad for Bybit. They've been stealing users' funds. They're not being friends of the crypto enthusiasts. And then they got hacked, and now they want the crypto community to help them. And the crypto community foolishly has been helping them, not realizing the damage Bybit has been doing on the back end. I'm going to ask the same question about Bybit that I've asked about so many different companies. Who actually runs it? Where are they at? I mean, so many questions to be asked, right? Bybit is no good. Glad they got hacked. Hope they get hacked tonight. I mean, it would make my teeth white in the morning. Nothing else to say about them. Shout out to Lazarus Group. Way to go after the real ones. Hey, you see Lazarus Group not going after you and I. They going after the folks who over here doing you and I wrong. So glad to see that it went down the way it went down. All right, I'm looking at the comments. I think that's about it. Hey, yeah, here we go. Hey, here we go. Somebody said it's gonna be.
Oh, that's crazy. I ain't never seen this.
Bike Connect.
That's crazy.
I love it. They said it's Bike Connect. Satoshi Slim, that was beautiful. I love it. It is now known as Bike Connect, Bybit Connect or something. It's crazy. But yeah, folks, let's stop feeling bad for Bybit. Share this video far and wide. Every time you see someone talk about the Bybit Lazarus hack, say, well, you know they deserved it, and start the conversation. What do you mean they deserved it? Man, talk to people who use Bybit. Some folks ain't got their money off that exchange in years, man. Bybit is going down, at least I hope they are. If not, I'm gonna pull a Kevin O'Leary. Next time I'm on the news or anything, I'm gonna be like, look, everybody was talking about this FTX and we even talking about Binance for Bybit. I'm gonna pull the Kevin O'Leary. I'm dropping. I'm about to drop dime on these fools. I'm dropping dime on these fools. That's a belly reference for those who don't know. I am about to drop dime on Bybit the next chance I get. They're gonna be talking about crypto criminals here.
Is this what I just saw?
Things just zero, man. Added a bidder here to impact token generators. If you
Yeah, that's not what I just saw. Never seen that before. Never. Never saw that. Is this it?
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. So every
Oh my god. That is fucking ill. That combo was stupid.
Its enters the battlefield abilities get countered, which means the trigger that says we need to
That dick was stupid.
heard of foundations, and I like a lot about foundation.
Yeah, that deck was nice. Had to look that shit